Coming up on today's Cooking Crave, we have an old family favorite with soup and a special pancake. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne.
And today, this is a pretty special show because this is these are a couple of recipes that you've been making since, I think, before we've been born.
Probably.
Yep.
Yes,
that's correct. It's a couple of my brother's favorites, but it is a homemade bean soup that is made in the crock pot.
You can put in the crock pot, which I usually do, but you can also just
have it on the stovetop
correct.
too.
Yeah.
Stovetop too. And then we always call them in our family big pancakes, but they're actually more of a crepe.
Yes.
So, it's however you term it in your family. Most people will probably see them as crepes. But to make these recipes, if you want to go ahead and cook along with us, just go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pencil and write down these ingredients. You're going to need a ham bone and 3 quarts of water, 2 cups of northern beans, 1.5 teaspoon garlic salt, and then... See, you wrote this recipe longhand. I don't know how to read your recipe sometimes, Mom. You're going to need some more water, salt. You're going to need some egg noodles and paprika and heavy whipping cream. That's what we're going to start that recipe out with. So, all homemade.
That's right.
And then for the crepes or the big pancakes, however you want to term them, you need 2 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, 4 eggs, and enough milk to make the batter a little thin. Is that an old recipe or what? All right. Well, let's get started, and you can show our viewers what one of our favorite family recipes are.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Yes, and definitely, like I said, I don't need a recipe for this. It's just all up here after 40 plus years and stuff. So, okay. The first thing I did was, and when we said northern beans, we want the dry beans.
Okay.
Not the canned beans. You want the northern beans. And I usually put it in a crock pot because to me, it's before I go to work, I put it together. When I come home, they're soft and they're ready to go. But it really works well if you take the beans, soak them overnight, and if you just put them in a regular Dutch, kettle, you probably make it in about an hour and a half, and stuff. So, but I start out with nice meaty ham bone.
Okay.
I put it in here with the dry beans, and we like that garlic flavor and stuff, so I put a 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt.
Okay.
Whatever. So we already have our beans soft here, and they've been on here for most of the day. And like I said, they're just, you don't want them till they're mushy, just till they're nice and, tender and stuff. So,
okay.
Starting out with that 2 to 3 quarts water. Now, my ham bone was pretty meaty.
Okay.
And it's nice to have a meatier ham bone. So I took it all out just a few minutes ago so it would cool. And what I do then is I just cut up those into little pieces, and then I take off any fat or whatever that might be on the ham bone.
Okay.
And, I put some water on to cook our noodles, and I hear that that's boiling.
It is.
So maybe what we can do
A
is...
rapid fire boil.
Yeah, okay. So take your, 3-quart kettle there and put about maybe 2/3 to 1/2 cup water. And what we're going to do is we're going to put noodles in. The noodles go in with the beans, and it's kind of like more of a filler then, and not just all beans.
Okay.
So here's our egg noodles. Now I got the whole bag, but I'm not going to use the whole bag. I'm going to use probably about a 1/2 to 2/3.
Okay.
So
now, when I know that this is coming from Dad's side, that this recipe, and I know that Grandma made her own egg noodles too. Is that what what we normally had growing up was homemade egg noodles, or?
Well, no.
Okay.
I've made egg noodles, but with this soup, I've just always used the bought noodles.
Okay.
And I like the little wider ones, not the real thin ones like you use for like chicken noodle soup or whatever. So
Okay.
I used about half of the bag there. So that was 12 ounces. So let's kind of see, that's probably about 6 ounces there. In fact, I think I'm going to put a few more in there. And I did add a little bit of salt to the water. Not a lot, because I'm going to have a lot of, you know, I've got the garlic salt and that in the crock pot, and the ham bone too. It's going to make it, you know, the flavorful and have a little salt. But the thing is, I always think it gives the noodles a little bit better flavor if there's a little bit of salt added to the water that cooks up.
Okay.
And the reason you don't want maybe too much water here is because I add the whole thing to the soup.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
you just
going-
transfer it.
I just transfer it. I don't drain that. So you have the noodles cooking in that water and that. And that's why, like I said, we don't start with the crock pot, or if you're putting it in a Dutch, you know, oven kettle, you're not going to put in a whole, you know, what, full to the top. You want to be able to save some to add this water.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to let them, and I don't like to let the noodles get real soft. I like to have them at what they call like par.
Okay.
Because so you add them in here and just get that heated up, you know, they're already going to get a little bit softer, and you don't want them mushy again. So like I said, say I'm just going to clean off the little extra fat. And then when we put the noodles in there, that we add about a good tablespoons of paprika,
Okay.
and then a little bit of whipping cream.
Okay.
So it's certainly your old German style of cooking there with the cream and the ham bone and all of that. So, and I have seen where, say, haven't had a, you know, say maybe a real meaty ham bone, that say you cook a ham, you can save some of those juices from the cooking that ham to add that little extra flavor
Okay.
in there too. But I still think, you know, like a meaty ham bone gives that little bit extra flavor
Sure.
to it stuff. So we're just on there.
Well, this might be an old recipe, but it's a good one.
It is. And like you said, it was your brother's favorite growing up, and that it just and you know, just to say a little story, you know, when they start kindergarten and first grade, they always ask, what's your favorite food? Mm-hmm. Well, your brothers would say they written down a couple of times bean soup and big pancakes. Well, other kids thought that was pretty weird. It was like, where are you coming from?
Yeah.
What's wrong? This doesn't sound good. So after that, they put down pizza. But it wasn't still their favorite.
It was just easier to put down.
That's right. They didn't have to explain, or people didn't wonder, well, where did you come from that you would think bean soup and that's going to be better than, you know, pizza. But
Well, I would take homemade food cooked from scratch anytime over pizza or fast food.
yeah. So I still definitely remember that, because I think one time when they come home with a paper and they had pizza on it, and I says, well, you know, pizza, I thought bean soup was your favorite. And they said, well, Mom, kids all look at us like we're crazy if we put bean soup down. So, and that. But like I said, and I do like to, you know, take off the fat with that and stuff. So you can see we have, you know, a nice amount of ham to put back into the soup. So it makes it a hearty soup too, you know, so you got your extra little ham there. So we're going to add that to it. And I know our viewers can't really see this, but the soup here, or, you know, my water is about half. And right now it would be pretty thick with beans if we didn't add a little bit more water with cooking the noodles. So we're going to just put this
So I know
aside.
that you said that you use dry northern beans out of the bag. If you would happen to want to make this and you want to take the easy route and buy the canned beans, what would the difference be?
Well, I don't. First of all, it's a lot cheaper going this route.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. But you know, your bean soup and that, the others are going. If you wanted to cook a ham bone in with those beans, they're already soft.
They'd probably get really mushy.
Right. and you'd need, 4 or 5 cans. And like I said, that would definitely make that a lot more expensive. So
Okay.
so let's just come over here and check these noodles. And then I'm going to put the burner on here, and we're going to start here then to, I'll keep it down a little bit, because we need to mix up the batter. But you want your skillet pretty hot when you put that batter in. You want it to be able just to turn that pan so it makes a nice crepe.
Spreads it out really thin and doesn't.
Yes. Okay, so it doesn't take, these noodles are definitely soft enough. So we're going to take that, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to pour the whole thing in.
So you have a pretty big crock pot here. How many quarts is this?
This is probably 10 quarts.
Okay.
And that, because I still have quite a bit of room in there and
Okay.
stuff. So, but I did start like with probably, I had 2 quarts and maybe another cup of water that I added and stuff. And so, and 2.5 cups of the dry beans, which that makes quite a few beans. When you're starting with the dry beans,
Okay.
makes quite a bit of difference and stuff. So we'll just get that stirred. And what I'm going to do here now is we're going to add a tablespoon of paprika.
Okay.
And it's a lot more paprika doesn't have a lot of flavoring, but it's going to give that color that that was just part of the thing that they did.
Okay.
So when I learned that, that's what we did. We was add that paprika, and gonna just let that set here. And as soon as we have our crepes made, then we're gonna add a little bit of a cream.
Okay.
And there we just use that heavy whipping cream. So I'm gonna do that. And we're gonna start with 2 cups flour.
Okay.
And about a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to add 4 eggs. And then, like I said, enough water milk just to make it pretty thin so that when you make the crepe and you put it in there and you're able to just stir that pan, that it really spreads out and makes a nice big crepe.
Okay.
So let's start with the eggs there.
You're pretty confident that these eggs are going to be good.
I am. I hope so. Yeah, there.
Because I know this is how you normally cook, but we sometimes, most of the time show that going into a different bowl just to be on the safe side.
Just to be on the safe side. That's right. Yep. So I just take a whisk here and start whisking this up. And so definitely for the crepes, you do not use any baking powder, because then it's going to rise and you're not going to have that thin pancake. What we want.
Okay.
So definitely, if somebody's thinking, "Oh, where's the baking powder?" you don't add that
Okay.
in here. So I'm going to just get this mixed up here. And so that was like 12 ounces of milk, and I think I'll end up using a little bit more than that yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, definitely. I'll have you just get the milk out of the fridge.
Oof, the jug.
It's a jug, you're right.
Take that cup right there.
We already did. That's Dad trying to help in the cooking show. That was my dad.
Okay.
He got all the ingredients prepared today for the show.
Right. But as usual, I'm one step ahead of them. Okay. So, and like it's getting there, but you know what I like to do is have that about that consistency so that you can really mix up the flour.
Okay.
And so it's not lumpy. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of more milk here. And I'm going to estimate that by the time we're done here, it's going to be at least 2 cups of milk added in with the eggs there.
So and it really just depends. I mean, when you're estimating, it's probably because of the size of the eggs. Is that what's varying why you don't always put the same amount of milk in each time?
Definitely. And the thing is too, when you measure your flour, maybe you're not measuring exact. Oh, well, just 2 cups there, whatever, I think, and stuff. So this is a recipe that does not have to be exact. You just want to have the end result, that thinner consistency.
Okay.
So if you have it there, and I've always liked to add with the 4 eggs versus, less egg and more milk. I mean, I like that, the eggs in there. So we're going to add just a little bit more. And then we'll show our viewers how thin I'm talking about here. Okay. So as we can see, that's pretty thin there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, and it's nice and smooth, so your whisk does just a wonderful job with that. So we'll put that in here, and we can put the milk back in the fridge.
Okay.
And then we're going to have our cinnamon and sugar ready. What we're going to do is, when I have the crepe, we're going to put it on the counter, and we're going to take like a tablespoon of cinnamon sugar and put it on the crepe and roll it up, and then we'll put it into our pan here. So we're going to bring this over to the stove, and like I said, we're showing our viewers that it's a nice thin batter. And I'm going to turn this up now because I like my skillet pretty hot. It's probably starting to get pretty hot. And then I just take some shortening and I just quickly do that. Just
enough just to coat the bottom.
Right. So I'm going to just put that over here, and then I use about a ladle full here. And this is what I mean when you have the batter thin. You're just going to take it and just keep, turning your pan. And there. And so then that makes it nice and thin and even. And so once, it's probably going to be maybe about a minute or on each side with that. We just want it brown. It doesn't take long to bake, or actually to fry up as a pancake and stuff. So I've got my spatula here, and so as soon as we start,
pretty easy to flip over then too.
It is. Yeah, it definitely will be. Well, usually it is. See, and so we're seeing here, and we just want to get that a little bit browned.
Okay.
And that so.
And you cook this over at like a medium-high heat. It's not something you want to cook on like a medium heat, and it just cooks longer. They probably get tougher, rubbery if you do that?
Not necessarily. Well, I guess I always am in a hurry, and I put it on high and faster.
Let it go.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I don't think it would, but it's just going to take you a little bit longer.
Okay.
And a lot of times too, your stoves, your glass tops, or your skillets now, they're recommended not to put on high heat. That they really would rather see you just more on that medium to high and stuff.
Yep.
So, okay, so I'm going to just take that and flip that over. And as you can see, it's just got a little brown color to that, and that's what we want with the other side. So we're going to just wait a little bit, and then we'll make a couple of these just to show the viewers, and then we'll just kind of finish up a few more and come back and with the end results.
Sounds good.
And then what we do with the crepes after that, we're going to put a little bit of cream on them and put them in the microwave and heat them up, and then our soup and all of this will be ready to go at once.
So now microwave, you just need to basically heat it up because these are already cooked. They're good to go.
Yes.
Now sometimes depending on how many you've had, I know that you've put them in the oven as well. Is that just like a different process?
You can definitely put them in the oven, but if you don't have too many, and that's when I do have more, then my casserole dish was bigger, and it just was easier just to put it in the oven.
Okay.
And that. But so for something quicker, for a few of them, definitely you can use your microwave.
Okay.
So now I'm going to just take that, and I'll put that here, and so you see that. So I'm going to have you go ahead and put a tablespoon of sugar in there. And
cinnamon, sugar, and cream.
Yeah, doesn't that sound just really good? But like I said, it's a good old German thing. So you want to roll them up pretty tight, and then just put them in here. And I'm going to go back over here and put one more on in the skillet here while we're getting that. And I do go ahead and put a little bit of shortening in each and every time. Like I said, so just, and there's definitely different sizes of ladles. So I would, if you're doing more of a trial and error, I would probably err on the less side than too much, because then it could make more than what your skillet, what you're going to be able to spread out, and then it's going to be thicker and it won't be quite as good.
Okay.
So, and that we'll get that one made, and as soon as once that goes and it's really quite hot, it doesn't take long or whatever. And with the amount of this that I have here, you're probably going to have about a dozen crepes. And what's nice, I mean, we've got a big kettle of soup. There's going to be leftovers. And I always would make sure that I always had plenty of crepes so that we'd have enough for the first night, and then I could take
second
out
night,
right,
third night.
right. And what I do, I would put them in like maybe a Tupperware container, the rest that I had. I wouldn't put the cream on all of them.
Right.
I only put the cream on as I'm going to use them, because the cream would just kind of soak up in there, and they would be more soggy, or because they don't really get soggy, but with
They
that
would
they
if
would.
they're soaked in them.
That's correct. So you can see how fast that goes. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to get that one rolled up again with that, and then we will just continue making those up, and we'll just come back and finish up our crepes and show our finished product. And like I said, we're putting our extras in our little Tupperware to put just in the fridge for tomorrow night's supper. And did you count how many we got out of that?
1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We got 13.
Oh, a baker's dozen. See, I was close. I said about a dozen. We just didn't say what kind of dozen. So what I'm going to do is just take another teaspoon of cinnamon sugar and just sprinkle that over here. And if you'd like to get the cream out of the fridge.
Sure.
And if we don't have, on the side door, there's another thing of cream. So when you're putting this in, you're probably going to use about close to about a cup of cream.
Okay.
And being these are still warm, it's not going to take too long to put them in to heat them up in the microwave. And of course, then when you heat that, the cream does get a little bit thinner also.
Okay.
And then you just spoon that over the crepes. So we're going to go over to the microwave, and we're just going to put that in there, and I'm going to put that on I'm going to start with 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
Okay.
And stuff, so.
Because she knows.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, now we're going to come over here, and I'm going to add a little bit of cream here, and I got to do my favorite trick. You got to get
We got to get it all out of there.
all out of there. So
You could have added milk.
So I could have added milk, right? And again, we're going to add about that half a cup of cream is sufficient.
Okay.
So we're going to pour that in there, and there we go. And you can just see that steaming and hot there, and we can, as our crepes will be done shortly, and we'll be able to, I'll just bring that over here and show our crepes and our soup. Smell like good old times at home.
Smells like supper.
Smells like supper, that's right. So, okay. And as we can see, our soup here is just, you got a lot of base to it. It's, not real thick, but it's, it's hearty.
Absolutely.
I guess if that's the word that we're looking for. And I'm going to bring a plate over here to put the crepes out here. And that's so. And a fork or two, we're going to need that. So what's nice cooking in your own kitchen. You just open up the drawer and it's right there.
You know where it's at.
That's right, and stuff. So that's just going to be just a few more seconds. I'm going to just take out a bowl of soup here, and you can really see the nice chunks of ham. And that there, so that's going to be hearty. We'll just set that aside, and the crepes will be coming out here shortly, and I'll need a big spoon to take them out. And
All right.
So, countdown. It's just gonna be.
It's gonna treat for you.
There we go. Okay. So it's a little warm on the bottom, so I don't want to take by the handles here. And take that here. And like I said, all you wanted to do was just heat up the cream in there, and you know that the crepes were warm. And this is what we would do here. And then, like we said, the cream is thinner. So we just take a little bit of cream and put that on there. And we have that. And that's one of the family favorites.
It is. It is. This could be like it's a third generation now, unless Grandma had learned it from her family.
That I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt that.
That, I mean, it's just been a recipe that's been passed down from generation
Right.
to generation. So we know it's on a third generation, but
Yeah.
it could be a lot longer than
Yeah.
that. So to get these recipes, just go to our website, www.ctctel.com. Please submit your recipes for us to cook for you. And thank you, Mom. This is our family recipe. Thank you for cooking this and showing our viewers this wonderful dish. And as always, thank you to the Workshop for being our sponsor. Have a great evening.